Frank, you racist, though. Hi there, I'm Roux. Welcome to my video. It's been a hot second since we did Am I the Antagonist? Am I the Cornhole? Am I the Bum Crevasse? So I thought we'd get back into it because it's one of my favorite subreddits. People have been suggesting that I should be doing some more wholesome stuff, so that's coming up later. Some wholesome shit is going to happen soon. But right now, we're going to judge the antagonists and the crevasses. Before we begin, I just want to do a huge shout out to Dougie, who gave me my first Ko-fi. Oh my god! Amazing! Thank you so much. Thank you for believing in me. Let's get started with today's Am I the Antagonist? Am I the Cornhole? Am I the Anus Crevasse? Stories. Today's stories are Bikini Blues, The Funeral, Kick Rocks, Karen, No Parking in the Driveway, You Ruined My Life, Frank, You Racist Though, Lay Off Bitch, He's Mine, and Adopted. Bikini Blues. Am I the antagonist for telling my sister to get over the fact that I wore a bikini around her boyfriend? I love to swim, and since we have a swimming pool in our backyard, I'm practically swimming daily. I don't think I own a one-piece swimsuit, so I'm always wearing a two-piece swimsuit, aka a bikini. My sister's boyfriend lives like 5 minutes away from our place, and he spends a lot of time here. The living room has a sliding glass door to the backyard, and the window to my sister's room is looking outside the backyard. I was taking a nap in the grass after I was done swimming and listening to music. I didn't even know my sister had her boyfriend over because I was in the backyard for basically the whole afternoon, 12 to 4. My sister woke me up and called me an asshole for wearing something so skimpy around her boyfriend. I asked her what she meant, and I guess her boyfriend kept looking out the window while I was napping/swimming. I know, weird. I told her that if he was looking at me, that is his problem, and that I wasn't trying to cause anything. She was pissed at me. Like I haven't seen her this mad at me since we were kids and had to share a room. She full-on told me not to dress like a whore when her boyfriend is over. I told her to get the fuck over herself, and if she has a problem with her boyfriend looking at me, then she should talk with him, not me. I then went to my room and we didn't speak for the rest of the day, till dinner. Am I the antagonist? No. She needs to get a new boyfriend. That's like hella creepy. Like, who stares at their girlfriend's sister? Like, I don't care what you're wearing. If you're like checking out your girlfriend's sister, you the problem, not the sister. Oh my lord. Next. The Funeral. Am I the antagonist for punishing my son for not wanting to go to his grandfather's funeral? My wife's father recently passed away, and long story short, he spent a lot of time with our 8-year-old son, and they got along fairly well. In the days leading up to the funeral, my son was obviously upset about his grandfather's passing, but nonetheless, we asked him if he wanted to go to the funeral, and he said yes. On the day of the funeral, as I was driving us there, one of us mentioned it being an open casket, and my son asked what that meant. I told him that his grandfather's body would be on display, so we can face him and say any final goodbyes. My son freaked out and suddenly went into hysterics about not wanting to go as he didn't want to see the body. My wife tried to calm him down, but he was very upset. After his constant wailing, I got pissed off and slammed on my brakes and turned the car around to drop him off. I was yelling at him for changing his mind the whole way back while he sat there doing his crying act. Fortunately, we were able to drop him off at our neighbor's house, who has babysat him in the past, and we arrived to the funeral late and missed most of the speeches. I was livid, and my wife was upset, being that it was her father's funeral. When we got back to the house, I ended up punishing him for 3 weeks. No TV, games, etc. And all his time had to be spent studying. My wife has been disagreeing with me about the punishment, but I told her that I gave him the option of not going and he chose to do so, and that it wasn't right he changed his mind and made us late. Normally I wouldn't be as harsh, but since my wife is in a vulnerable state and she missed most of the funeral, I essentially blame my son 100% for all of this. Are you trying to be the worst father in the universe? Like, you're giving Darth Vader a run for his money. What the hell? So your child lost someone he loves, an essential person in his life. He's 8 years old, he doesn't understand how funerals work, and you only tell him while you're going there that he's going to be in the same room as the dead body of someone he loved, and he's going to have to look at it. And you're pissed at him for freaking out about that? What the hell is wrong with you? Some adult people wouldn't be able to handle that, and you're pissed at an 8-year-old for not knowing that A, you'll be seeing the dead body of someone you loved, and B, he can't handle that? Why would you want to damage your child like this? You're an unreasonable, immature, terrible person. Next! Kick rocks, Karen. No parking in the driveway. Am I the antagonist? Neighbor damaged her car on my landscaping rocks. I own a property on a narrow street, with a strip of grass between the sidewalk and the curb. Everybody parks on top of the strip and digs out deep tire ruts in my grass. So to keep the street more clear, they pull partially up on my lawn. The resulting tire ruts will fill with water, become muddy, and breed mosquitoes all summer long. It's unsightly, and the flies are a major pain in my ass. So I found some large rocks, large enough to need a hand truck/dolly to move them. But I used these builders to block off the parking so nobody could park on my lawn. Put them right next to the curb line. I purchased new soil, grass seed, mulching hay, fertilizer, etc. It took about a month, but the ruts are filled in. New grass is growing and it looks 10 times better. Plus, no more insect breeding ground. It looks very much like this or this. Looks fabulous. My neighbor, who I had long suspected was one of the cars damaging my lawn, spoke to me one day. She was pissed I had put the rocks there. She said I should have said something to them or warned them. She went to park, presumably, as she always did, drove up onto my lawn to get out of the street. She didn't expect the rocks to be there and scratched/dented her front/side of the car. She was pissed and hinted that I should pay for that. She mentioned the previous owner let cars park there and that I should continue the tradition. Short summary of the combo. I told her it's not against city code to put boulders there. I said my property is not for others to park on. There were years of damage I repaired from all of the previous parking. I also refused to pay for body damage from her own careless driving while trying to park where she should never have been in the first place. Next time, she should pay attention to where she is parking. Nor do I care about what the previous owners did, and I'm certainly not putting up a sign warning about rocks. She was pissed, to say the least. She gives me the evil eye every time she sees me. What gives? Am I the antagonist or not? No. If she's so complacent in her driving that she's just like, well, I always park here, there's nothing in the way. Who says she wouldn't have, hit a child or an animal? She shouldn't be driving if she's that complacent. Holy shit. You're not the antagonist. She deserves a wake-up call or two, or driver is ed refresher. Oh my. Next. You ruined my life. Am I the antagonist for kicking my son out because he wouldn't shut up about how I destroyed his life? I, 56 female, invited my son, Eric, 37 male, to come live with me because his wife, 41 female, works shifts with coronavirus patients. I was happy to do it, but he was ungrateful and irritable since the first day. A little background. I supported Eric on my own. I put my own education on hold and worked multiple jobs, so I always tried to be an involved parent. He was gifted, so I fought for him to be put into the best classes, etc. And when he graduated high school, I wanted him to become a doctor. There was no pressure involved. I only told him I would pay for him to go to medical school. But if he had a good alternative in mind, I would consider it. He didn't, and so he went off to medical school, graduated, and became a doctor, and I was very proud. The issue is that he doesn't see things the same way. Throughout the years, he's kept whining about how I forced him to be something he doesn't enjoy, and always trying to paint me as the bad guy. Even though I let him live rent-free, paid for extra stuff like therapy, ensured that he has no debt, things other people would kill for. Even the facts contradict him. He has a very well-paid job, friends, he met his current wife at school, etc. Since his wife wasn't here, I decided to bring up some of the concerns I have about her. Among other things, she's tried to get him to cut me off before, but despite her best efforts, I was able to save our relationship. And he lost it. He started screaming and shouting, some really vile abuse, because apparently she wants to leave him. I tried to make him see the silver lining and convince him that he could do better than someone like that, but he just flipped on me instead and started on his "you're the reason my life sucks, I hate you, etc. spiel. Generally just acting like a child. I wouldn't tolerate abuse like that in my own home, so I kicked him out and I thought I was completely within my rights to. I just got a phone call from my brother. Eric went there after he left the house, telling me that I'll be lucky if Eric ever speaks to me again. I told him that all I wanted was an apology and he could come stay here again, but he hung up and now I'm wondering if I did anything wrong. Am I the antagonist? Yeah, this sounds like the kind of person who's a narcissist, who's just like, I did all of these wonderful things. It also strikes me as really telling when they're like, I would pay for other schools if they came up with a good alternative, but they didn't. That makes me think that they actually had alternatives in mind, but the mother was just like, those aren't good enough and I refuse to pay for them. See, that's what I'm getting from this. I don't think it was that her son didn't have desires to go somewhere else, but that she was just like, it's not good enough and I'm only paying for medical school. Those aren't viable options. So she legit made him become something he doesn't enjoy. And she's just like, why is he so upset? He's a doctor. Girl. And I can completely see how if he found someone he loves, who loves him, who's witnessing this toxic bullshit where your parent has basically been forcing you to be something you're not your whole life and be the best and live up to the parent's standards all the time, how that probably is really toxic. So I can see why the wife would be like, you know what, it's just freaking unhealthy to have this person in our lives. And maybe he was like, I can't do it, I'm too attached, and that's why she wants to leave him. I'm not surprised that he's pissed at his parent. And the fact that the brother of this mother is siding with Eric just tells me that when other relatives are like, yeah, they suck. I completely agree, Eric. They've been terrible their whole lives. It makes me think that, oh, you're just painting this in your own light and you only see things from your point of view. So yeah, you're the antagonist. And you would be very lucky if Eric does speak to you with what you did. Next. Frank, you racist, though. Would I be the antagonist to refuse bio-dad who terminated rights to contact my daughter after he became infertile? I, female 30, am a dual American/Australian citizen who grew up in an international custody order where I'd bounce back and forth between dad, white American, and mom, Indigenous Australian, from the age of 12 to 17. As a part of this arrangement, my final year of schooling was to be completed in Australia, so I could also take part in cultural activities from my mom's side of the family. When I was 15 to 16 years old, I fell pregnant in America, to my then boyfriend, and I didn't realize until I was back home in Australia. When I eventually told my mother, she and my father decided to support me, but took my passport until I was a legal adult to stop me from making any foolish decisions. With both my parents' support, I subsequently made phone calls and contacted the father of my daughter. The bio-dad of my child was also 15/16 years old and didn't want to be involved at all. He said some very hurtful things during this time, calling my daughter a half-breed and other racially based slurs when we broke up over the phone. Eventually, when my daughter was young, bio-dad voluntarily terminated rights when my daughter was 5. He never willingly saw her, stopped contacting me, never paid child support, and never asked about her. In part, his parents also voiced that this was the best move to stop him from ruining his life. My daughter has been adopted by my now husband. We have told her age-appropriate things relating to this. My daughter is now 14, soon 15, and a mutual friend from America sent me a message that bio-dad has gotten into an accident a year ago, and that he recently found out that he can no longer father biological children. He's been sending messages to mutual friends asking for my contact information to get in touch with my daughter. He says he deserves to have biological children. No one has sent him anything, and I trust them not to. Would I be the antagonist if I didn't allow bio-dad to come back into our lives? He voluntarily gave up legal rights, and I am empathetic towards his new infertility, but my daughter isn't a second choice. Nah, he's a racist. For someone to say that she's a half-breed? dude, so you can put your dick in someone and that's all nice and dandy, but you're gonna call the child you made out of that a half-breed? Like, I don't understand racists. Like, they like find women of color really hot, it seems, but then it's like, no, my race though. It's like, what? They're so contradictory, it blows my mind. But yeah, I would not subject your daughter to this person. And anyone who says they deserve biological children after ignoring their biological child for years just because he can't have any more, sounds like a toxic asshole. I wouldn't subject my child to that. No. Ew. He is reaping what he sowed. Literally. Next! Young love, run free. Lay off, bitch. He's mine. Am I the antagonist for telling my son I don't think him and his girlfriend are going to last? I, 45 female, have 2 sons. One is 20 and one is 18. This is regarding my older son. He is currently at university studying medicine, but he is home at the moment studying online. He has been in a relationship with a girl from his university city since last December, and they seem really in love. But I do have my concerns. I think a further education is crucial, and my son's girlfriend didn't even finish high school. She's in a good job, as she has her own business, but it concerns me. She seems to distract him a lot, but my son claims she massively motivates him and tells him to get his work done, especially at the moment whilst they're long distance. She also isn't from an ideal family situation, as she was born out of wedlock and has separated parents. Yesterday, my husband came downstairs and told me he could hear our son on the phone to his girlfriend. They call at least twice a day, for at least an hour each time. I went upstairs and asked him if he was talking to her, and he said they had just finished. I told him I didn't think they would last to the end of the lockdown, and that maybe he should consider just being friends with her at the minute so he can focus properly. I don't disapprove of her, but in all honesty, she isn't what I planned for my son. She seems like a very lovely girl, but her lack of education does worry me. My son has been furious with me as he told his girlfriend what I said, and it really upset her. My husband has also said that I need to keep my nose out of my son's business as he's 20 now. Am I the antagonist for telling him they won't last? Yes! What the fuck is wrong with you? You're acting as if your son is 10 and you can just be like,
this girl at school, she's just not right for you because she throws sand at other children. I think you could do better, baby.
He's 20 years old. I also love that she included born out of wedlock. Like, bitch, just because you decided to keep your punani until marriage and have children within marriage doesn't make you any better. I know, shocking. What a revelation. And it doesn't make those children born out of wedlock any worse than your beautiful, pristine son. What a disgusting woman. What the hell? And she's just like, she doesn't have any education, but she's like hella successful. What? So because she's one of those people who didn't academically, she didn't fit into the whole academic thing, but she did really well with something else, because not everyone is suited for higher education. Not everyone learns in the same way, you know? And just because she succeeded in a different way, you're like,
but education though.
Would it be better if she had a really high education and was unemployed? I'm so confused. You don't get to plan your children's lives. This isn't The Handmaid's Tale, starting your son. So yeah, keep your nose where it belongs. Out of other people's business. That's it for this time, you guys. I hope you had a wonderful time and that you'll come back next time for more. I post every Friday and soon every Wednesday with my new true crime series. Thank you so much to my wonderful patrons, Capra, Magdalena Wurska, Cami, Ellie, and Uninspired Content. And you, Dougie. Thank you for the Ko-fi. If you want to be my patron or support my work by giving me a Ko-fi, there's links in the description. See you later, alligator!